Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. What a week Napoli has had. Not the best week, of course. We lost to Empoli after having drawn to Roma and lost to Fiorentina the weekends before. And we had a bit of a retreat, but not really. It was just go to training and then have a bit of wine with the president and talk things out. And then there were obviously some rumors about Osimhen potentially getting offers from the Premier League. Mertens is all but confirmed that he's staying at Napoli, which is amazing news. And obviously De Laurentiis confirmed that Kvara is a new Napoli player. But we are not here to talk about those things. We will have plenty of time this summer to talk about that. And if you do want to be up to date with any Napoli news, and all the latest, then do follow the Instagram page, official Napoli Talk, or the Twitter Napoli Talk, because it's so much simpler to get news out fast on those platforms. By the way, guys, this is also my 150th video since starting the channel. So to celebrate, why don't you go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. Now guys, let's get straight into the video. And the video is basically, why did Napoli have such a great start to the season and where did that form go? What's changed in the way that Napoli plays where now we're struggling to get goals, we're struggling to get results? I think the key is in Koulibaly. Now guys, I am not saying that Koulibaly is the problem and I am not saying that Koulibaly is playing badly. What I am saying is that the way we're using Koulibaly is different and that's having a serious impact in the way that we play. And I think looking at the stats, it becomes extremely clear. So let's start off, for example, with the percentage of successful passes that Koulibaly has had, which is, by the way, not a reflection of how good he's been, it's also a reflection of, well, how open are his teammates and how easy do they make it for him to receive a pass. In the first 15 games of the season, it's very clear that on average, Koulibaly was around 90% successful with his passes. Then if you take a look at what happens from then onwards, you can clearly see that there's been a bit of a decline. That average goes down to 85%, maybe lower, and there's some games where it's well under 80%. Now obviously one stat doesn't mean anything, so why don't we add something else and see how many successful passes he's had going forward. Koulibaly's current success in passing forward is less than 80%, whereas at the start of the season it was well above that. Obviously, the more accurate passes you're making going forward, the higher the chance it is that those become chances where you could score and potentially win games from. Okay, but going forward doesn't necessarily mean they're dangerous passes. So why don't we take a look at how many passes he's played into the opposition's half. And again, we can see here that the number of passes that he was doing going not only forward but into the opposition half was so much higher than the ones that he is doing currently. Guys, since the 10th game of the season, he's only once done more than 20 passes into the opposition half in any game. Whereas in the first 10 games, most of the time he was above 20. And now you guys might be asking, okay, well, just because he's making a pass in the opposition half doesn't mean it's actually any dangerous. Well, okay, so let's take a look at how many passes he's played into the opposition's box. That means clear-cut chances that Koulibaly was offering players. And again, we can see that at the start of the season, Koulibaly was actively involved in the way that Napoli was attacking and creating goal-scoring chances. Now, there's been very few times where he was involved in making decisive passes going forward and into the opposition box in the second half of the season recently. And it just so happens to be that in those games, Napoli won. So it seems like Napoli really struggles to win when Koulibaly is not involved in the creation of that chance. And guys, this is something that I've picked up on at the start of the season. It was something that I said, this is how Spalletti is playing differently compared to Gattuso, and you can check it out in this clip of me speaking to Rabona TV. So when the other team has the ball,
Koulibaly and Rahmani are already in the other team's half. I mean, there was a crazy stat in the last game against Cagliari. We recovered the ball 8 times in that first half. 7 out of those 8 were in Cagliari's own defensive third, because our whole team is just so far forward.
And if you want to see an actual example of Koulibaly getting involved in setting up Napoli's play or getting more into attacking situations, take a look at how he recovers the ball when Napoli played against Torino at the start of the season. Koulibaly is so far up the field, recovers the ball, and that's ultimately what helps Victor Osimhen then score a goal. Guys, that is what we are lacking recently, and if we can get Koulibaly in better positions, if we can get him again pushing forward, pressing forward, then maybe we'll be able to have more wins. So again, I'm not saying he's playing badly, I'm saying the way that the team is playing now is not allowing him to express his qualities, and then it's not allowing Napoli to win games. If the team is not pressing, Koulibaly can't just go and press by himself. If the team is not willing to accept the ball as openly as they were at the start of the season, then Koulibaly can't give them a successful pass. Now, before I finish the video, one little bonus insight that I've had. We didn't get points against Fiorentina, Empoli, and drew against Roma, and in all 3 games, Di Lorenzo was missing. But you know what's really interesting? Di Lorenzo was also missing when Italy lost against Macedonia. Now, what do most of those games have in common? The fact that Italy and Napoli both conceded really late goals around the 90th minute. Now, Di Lorenzo's not the type of player that makes the headlines, that scores a lot of goals, or even assists a lot of goals, but he is a player that is always switched on. You can always rely on him, and I think he makes sure that the defense stays concentrated, make sure that everyone is in position, and make sure that everyone remains switched on. We clearly lack that in the last few games. Italy also lacked that against North Macedonia. Potentially, it's because Di Lorenzo wasn't there. Anyways, guys, that is everything. Again, if you haven't smashed that like button, what are you doing, bro? Go ahead and smash it. And if you haven't subscribed, then go and subscribe for some more videos. And as always, Forza Napoli sempre.